All right, hey, welcome in Buffs Nation. Another edition of S2S Colorado Buffaloes Live. As always, I'm your host Manny. Please make sure to follow on X at Manny underscore 303, Instagram at 303 underscore Manny. The Buff line is always open. So please reach out, comment, text, leave a whatever it is, leave a message 970-614-5571. Also, make sure to follow us, the whole channel at the VOCFB on X, and catch us on either your favorite podcast, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. I dropped my talked about the Voice of College Football recruiting channel, which I'll be running. Today I dropped my top 5 recruits in the 26 class. Make sure to go check those out. A little bit of controversy there, but I think it ironed itself out. One other thing I forgot. So there's a whole list of things today, guys. We also have a merch store. It's linked in the ticker below. We have a Colorado form as well on the website where we can interact on the website. Again, make sure to check that out. And then, two, make sure on the bottom here, we got the Venmo up at Manny S2S. Again, if you can, would love to have you guys do that. And then today we have our guy Dukes the Scoop on here with us today. I'm gonna bring him on. Hey Dukes, how's it going, man?
Hey man, it's good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. Just thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate you, man, taking some time out of your day.
Oh man, it's no problem, man. I was glad to do it, man. And just always good to get on every platform you can. And there's no other place I'd rather be right now.
All right, appreciate it. Appreciate it. And, just a little bit too, just reached out to Dukes earlier this summer. I think it was in early June. In this business, you get a lot of cold emails, you don't hear back a lot. So, just Dukes took the time, even before I had this podcast, before I even knew what I was trying to do with my life. And Dukes responded within hours of the email being sent. So again, man, just absolutely appreciate you, man.
Nah, man, it's all good, man. I just believe, like, man, like for real, you don't never know. Like, I don't know who's on the other end. And so even when you told me your story, I was like, man, that's somebody you want to be locked in with. Like, so I'm just proud of you for building for building on something and starting and keep going. And shoot, man, your TV, I mean, your show look better than mine, man, already. So hey, man, hey, you doing something right, big dog, for sure.
Man, I'm not even gonna, as much as I want to say it's all me, it's not. It's the network I work for, which is a group of great people. They given me a couple different platforms. Again, now, we dropped a recruiting at the Voice of College Football, and they were lucky enough to let me host that, and that's where my passion lies. Outside of Colorado football, but with football recruiting, high school football. So, and again, we'll talk that today. We'll talk some Julian Lewis today, and again, my take on him, your take on him, and again, I know you're out there in ATL, right, in Georgia.
Yep, yep.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm sure you went to a couple live games with to see Julian, right?
For sure.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, let's jump into it. And again, those of you that are with us, as always, thank you again for being with us. Without you, we have no show. So again, I do appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's jump into this, and then Dukes, if you're good with this, I put up just so to give you something. I got your handle now. It's going to be going across the bottom, as well as where you can find Duke's channel at the bottom. So that'll be scrolling there rest of the show today. So again, make sure that this is you follow Dukes at Dukes the Scoop on X. His channel's right there at the bottom as well. Real good channel, one that I've been watching for quite some time now. So make sure you guys all tune into that because it's an awesome show.
Oh man, thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to jump into some questions first. So,
right.
So Dukes, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your upbringing, where you have worked or been, and when you knew you wanted to pursue this career.
Man, I'm from College Park, Georgia, born and raised. Grew up, mom, single parent household. My dad was around, real popular guy where we from. Popular everywhere he's ever been. My dad was a real people person. I'll say that. But yeah, I grew up mainly with my mom. She passed away a couple of years ago, but she was pretty much my everything. Like so, She was an educator. She educated like our whole community. I got the College Park shirt on now, and
Yeah.
uh, I think I got my heart from her, like as far as like wanting to help people. Um, started playing football when I was like 5. Grew up, started getting in a little trouble around ninth grade. Are bouncing from school to school, put football down, and then I think around like my 11th grade year, I got a job when I was 14. I always been like a hustler, like I always wanted to make some money, and I got a job early, and then I fell in love with clothes and shoes, and that's all I wanted to do at that time. But around 11th grade, I just came off. I got put out of a school, and I got a second chance. I should have been expelled from the school system, but my mom, being the educator, not bought me a second, but got me a second chance. And man, I took advantage of it. Went crazy. Made really good grades. Saved myself from having to go to alternative school, and ended up making good enough grades. And with me, it was never the ability. It was always the want to and what would I rather be doing and hanging with the wrong crowd. So by the time I started really paying attention to what I should be doing and realizing like people who were going down that path that I wanted to go down only ended up being dead or in jail. And what sense did I have ended up that way when I had a mom who loved me and a family who supported me? Like, so it's one thing to be from the hood. It's another thing to act like you from the hood or act worse than what you were raised to do. So just by just changing my ways and being more respectful of the people who came before me, who worked hard to make sure that I had lights and running water and stuff, who may not have grown up with it. So when I started taking advantage of those opportunities, that's when I saw my life change. And went to Auburn University. Just went to school. I had a really good SAT score and decent grades. So yeah, went to Auburn University. Met a lot of ball players there, and but I met a lot of everybody. I threw parties on campus. I always was gonna bring the hustle with me. So I saw everything on campus, from liquor to through parties, sold clothes, did everything but go to school. And but I finally got it together, graduated 06. But during that time, I worked at the athletic dorm where I met a lot of the ball players, and they would all come to the parties, and I became probably one of the more popular non-athletes on campus, and that helped me fast forward. Got into a bunch of different things, had a bunch of different. I was an entrepreneur, and around 2020, but my bread and butter was warehousing. I became a warehouse manager. So around 2020, during COVID, my company got sold. I was out of a job. I ain't had nothing to do every day while I was looking. I said, man, I'm talking to one of my buddies who went to Auburn with me. He was on the Auburn coaching staff at the time, and we were talking about how guys from like 24/7 were making like a ton of money. And he was like, man, they call me for the answers, but but I tell you, like, you should do it. And so I just go to the guys on the 24/7 Auburn site. I'm like, hey, look, I know all this stuff. Y'all should pay me. And they're like, bro, that's not how it works. But we'll get. And I was like, all right. So then I just go to the message board. I just started making all these predictions. And after a while, they're like, hold up, he must know somebody. How does he know all this stuff? And so I'm like, all right, look, now I proved it. You guys should pay me. And they were like, nah, that's still not how it works. Well, we'll give you a free subscription. And I was like, free? Man, what? All right, boom, bump that. So I just go to Twitter. So the Twitter account that I have now, I started it in May 2020. And shoot, man, I just started. What I would do was put out information that people posted. So let's say Steve Whitford was coming out with a prediction then, and I knew he was getting close to doing something, then I would put it out first. But I would tell people like, hey, look, if you follow me or if I get 200 retweets, I'll tell you who's the next person to sign with Auburn. And then over a couple of months, shoot, man, I grew it to like 4,000 or 5,000 followers in like a few months, and I just became a personality. And that was 2020. I stopped once I got a new job. I stopped. Started back in 2021. 2022, 24/7 was like, hey, we tired of. At the end of 2021, I get a call, and they're like, hey, look, hey, we tired of competing. Come work for us. And shoot, that's how I got my start. So 2021, I got hired. I actually got onto my first article I put out was 2022. So I would say I've probably been doing this professionally for 3 years now, which is crazy. So then worked 24/7 for 2 years. On3 calls me, become the first Black national analyst at On3. I was a national guy, did recruiting, which was crazy. And then this last year, I was in a 3-year deal. They only They only guaranteed the first one. So when I came out of my deal, after I had some stuff going on, and after I came out of my deal, I had an opportunity, and Coach Prime called and was like, "Listen, um, I know you're gonna get a job. Everybody speaks highly of you, but I would think that you could try it independently. Like just give it a shot. Like you go holla at my son and just do a show with him and just see how it goes. I put one show up on Well Off Media. It does like 30, 40,000 views the first show. And shoot, from that point, I was like, I talked to Bucky for a long time. We built a good relationship. Shout out to Bucky too. We still do work together as well. And shoot, I got with Uncle Neely, Bucky. I did some work with the Pregame Network. I did some work with DNVR. I worked for them for probably maybe 3-4 months. And I just decided, I told everybody, like, I'm gonna do my own channel. And everybody was like very, very like they were supportive. It was like, nah, dude, like, you can do it. You don't need us. That was Bucky, Pregame Network, DNVR. Everybody just gave me their blessing to start a new channel, and that's how I got here.
Yeah, no, and thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's just inspiring for sure, for sure. And some of those pieces I can relate to. I was raised by a single mom. I have an older, younger brother, 3
Yeah.
boys she raised.
Yeah, that's
so
hard.
I'm actually coming from education, so switched over to that. So I know exactly what I have no idea how I ended up there because I hated school. Never got kicked out. Suspended a couple times here and there, but never. I don't think I ever got close to being expelled or anything. But I went into education to try to help kids like me. Me growing up, like, man, they're on the other side of the table. Why are we yelling at them? Like, it don't do any good. I'm telling you, from the other side, that does not do any good. So.
Right.
I think I did a pretty good job there, trying to address the inequalities that exist, right? The majority of the kids that come in the office, they're black or brown, and that's the reality of it. And it's a different set of rules. So, I've tried my best to fix that. And then, I got to a point where it's just like, man, I love football. Let's figure something out. Let's figure something out and see what we're going to do and try to combine all those other things that I have into this. So, but, and then, how you said, I've been, I think it was last year with On3. That's when I started following you. I would listen to you on DMVR. I was like, man, like, when is Duke's coming on again? I want to hear some recruiting information, right? All this stuff. So, but just appreciate you, man. You shared that story. I think it's fantastic where you are with your career, with your life. Someone I look up to.
Oh man,
inspire me. I appreciate that. So,
too much love, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Always. So yeah, let me just ask you a couple more questions. So, and again, I know that this is share what you can.
Okay.
But last year you got close to the Buffs, the Colorado football program and the way they operate. And again, I know you can't share a ton, which is cool. I get that. Some of those things, Prime got to keep it close to the vest. I get that. But if you can share what you can about the program, just kind of how the Colorado program is versus other programs you've been around, if you don't mind.
Extremely disciplined. Extremely disciplined. I think that's the thing that people don't talk about a lot, man. Coach Prime is a stickler for discipline. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I think one of the best stories that I've ever seen is Coach Prime just getting on guys about being not early enough. It's not about, you're early, but you could be 12 minutes early and still late to a meeting. The discipline, man, and I think it's building character, because if I could trust you to get here on time, then I could trust you to run this coverage correctly. I could trust you to spill this block. I could trust you to fit this run. So I think those are the things that about the program that people see the rappers on and the celebrities on the sideline, and people see Coach Prime and the gold chains and how and the way he talks and the swagger he has, and they think that's the football. That's not the football. The football is, what time were you at class? How many hours of film are you watching? Where are you at treatment? Those are the things that people do. Were you on time for weigh-in? Like, those are the type things that people miss about the program, is how disciplined and the amount of discipline that he puts into that program.
Yeah, no, and so from a distance, right? You're right. Like, we see those things, we see the chains, everything. Everybody has a problem with them. I'm like, man, about time. So about time. This is before I don't know, Dukes, you ever been to Boulder before Prime?
Nah, never.
So my wife and I, we had season tickets 14, 15, and 16. We went up there. My wife, she graduated from school there.
Okay.
I never, I don't know if I had the money to go to CU, but we growing up, but we she went there, and it's just a completely different thing. We went from 2014, 15, 16 to, being the only, people of color on campus, it felt like, to now. We went last year, and it was like, man, we met people from over here from, and again, if you're from the Denver area, from East Aurora, off Colfax up here, we met people. I met this family from Columbus, Ohio. He's asking me, he's like, yo, dog, like, how we're staying in Denver. Like, what do we got to be? I said, man, you got nothing to worry about. You're good, And so just people from all over to come see Prime, right? That Prime effect. And it has just been, man, it feels comfortable in Boulder now, to say the least. I just absolutely love everything Prime's brought. So, and the discipline, those things, those are things we don't get to see, right? Like those of us on the outside kind of thing, or looking in on the program. And again, what I think some people need to actually think about is Deion Sanders Prime. He is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. So to think that's how, one of the, he's the best corner to ever play, right? It's just that simple, right? You see this, it's like you don't get there by taking shortcuts. And I think that's a part that a lot of people miss with Deion, and whatever it is, clickbait, whatever it may be. But he is I love what he's done there in Boulder. I love what he's done for the community and the whole state of Colorado at this point. So, but yeah, I'm excited for it. Right, it's brought a lot of what I say is, Colorado, welcome to big time college football. Welcome. Yeah. Welcome, right? Because
it's time.
It's time. It's past time, right? So right. This is where we're at, and I'm couldn't be happier. So I'm not sure. Dukes, were you there the first day of summer camp when Prime had that press conference?
No, I wasn't. No.
Okay. I know we talked with Jack Carlo yesterday, our guy that Prime likes to call Harlow and all these mess with. So he was on yesterday, but and again, I saw this press conference come up, and I was just like, your heart drops a little bit, right? Your stomach drops, and you're just kind of like, man, I hope he's okay. And then you get everybody else like, oh, he's gonna retire, he's sitting out for the year, and it's like, man, let the man talk. Like, what were you thinking when all this when that first dropped?
Man, I was just thinking, like, how good of a person he is outside of ball, because behind the scenes there was, from talking to people around him that I know, from him reaching out to me a couple times, I would have never known that he had something going on like that. And for him to take time out, even reach out to me and some of the other people that I know that he's reached out to, he gets painted as a selfish person, man, but he's a selfless person, because nobody had an inkling as to what he was really going through, and he was still showing up for people in a major way. So I think that press conference, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, you mean to tell me? I'm scrolling through my text thread, and I'm saying, hey, you mean to tell me he was going through this then? And now I'm just putting two and two together, like, man, so when he told me this, he was going through this, and when he told this person this, he was going through that. Like, wow. And when he did this for this person, he had this going on. So it just made me respect him more as a person.
Absolutely. And I think he's shown that time and time again. And I look at all the recruits that come in. And again, I get the NIL. These kids, they have to go get their paper. I get that. I get it completely. But we have some of these that come into Colorado, and they pass on it, and it's just kind of like, man, you guys, and again, they're kids, and I get it, but you guys are just passing up on a golden ticket at this point. Whether it be through mentorship, a way to the league with that coaching staff. Which we'll get into later, with Randy Moss being there today, Marshall Falk on staff, Petco, you got, it's a golden opportunity, right? Golden ticket, Willy Wonka, whatever you want to call it, right? So, yeah. But yeah, Monday, you were there Monday, right? Press conference?
Yesterday, Tuesday.
Yesterday, Tuesday, man, that was just barely yesterday. Holy cow. Yep. Man, I got 3 kids. I got 3 boys, so it is like, man,
yeah, man. It all runs together, brother. I know it. I got one. It's hard for me to keep up.
Yeah, how old, if you don't mind?
11.
11. Yep. I got 8, 4, and 2.
Oh,
3
man.
boys. Yeah, we're in the thick, man.
It's fun, man. 8. all those are fun. I think every age is fun, but 2 and 4 are especially fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
2 and
that what it's
4 are
called?
fun.
That's what it's
Yeah,
called. Yeah.
yeah. 2 and 4 are fun ages, though. I'll say that. Right, we'll put it like that. Yeah.
Yep. No, I love them to death. But you asked Prime a question yesterday at the press conference. Biggest difference between year one and year three, and what was his response? I remember it, but just kind of from your perspective, what he said.
He just said the people. He was just like, the people make the difference. And I think he was just talking about the rate, though, not even just the talent level, but just the people that he's put around that he's insulated the program with. And I think now you've got the right people. He really feels confident in the staff that he has. I think he feels confident in the roster, how deep the roster is. And he built something every year to combat the naysayers. And that he went on to say that again, like, hey, every year has been something. Is he going to be able to coach at Colorado? Then it was 2. It was, well, can he do it again? And can they win in Colorado? And now he says, can they win without Shedeur and Travis? And he said every year he's built the team that was able to quiet a naysayer. So I think he thinks this is his most talented team, and that's kind of what his answer was based around.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. This team is deep, and again, if to the outside world, right, they see, you don't replace a Travis Hunter, you don't replace your Shador Sanders, but I mean, there's talent. You look at what they built in the portal, right, like people forgot about London Merritt, right, freshman coming in, like that was Ohio. He picked CU over Ohio State. That's not
Man,
like, yeah, you know what I mean. So like,
yeah,
they have some dudes on this team. And it's just kind of like, and again, the clickbait, all those things, whatever it may be, but Prime is building something, Coach Phillips, Coach Box, those dudes, man, they're doing their thing right now.
yeah. And I'm glad you brought out London Mayer, because London Mayer was a borderline 5-star the whole time. And he just, he didn't grow as much as people projected him to. But he didn't stop working on his game. The football elements, that he got better and better and better. Like, he's gonna be a baller. Like Coach Johnson up at Ohio State was sick about that. London Mayer he's actually from where I'm from. Him is Pop. So they're shout out to Dad too, man. Great guy. And but London Mayer has been playing against the best players his entire life. So little league football in Atlanta is like baby D1. They call it the baby SEC. Like, you got it's ridiculous. So him playing with like a Montrez Walker growing up, a Julian Lewis growing up, you name it. Like, there's a who's who of college football today that these guys have been playing with their whole entire life. Aaron Nolan, who was a borderline 5-star, Jelani Thurman, Bo Hughley, Terrence Love, you just go down name Bryce Thornton, Bruce Thornton, just so many guys who are playing high level ball. Isaiah Collier, who's was just a first round pick for the Utah Jazz a year or two ago. He was a phenomenal running back. He's an NFL player. They talk about Anthony Edwards, how good he was on the football field. Yep. Isaiah Collier, and these are all guys. KJ Bolden, like, these are all guys. Ty Boogie, like, all of these guys played together. And London Merritt was one of the best ones. So I have no doubt about how he's going to perform. Only reason it wasn't a 5-star is because he didn't become 6'5".
Yeah, and they're again at the end they're 18, right?
Right.
They're still growing, man. Like,
right.
and people, a lot of the time what I say, what I'm doing is when I'm writing scouting reports, watching kids, everybody's looking at this and they look at NFL, right? And it's like, man, they're not going into the NFL today. They're going into college. We have to understand that, and again, the high school coaches, they are great coaches. Do not get me wrong. No takeaway from them, but man, they're going to D1, right? They're going to go play some Power 4 football. They're going to get the best coaching there possibly is. They get that, and sky's the limit at that point. So when there's a difference between watching high school kids versus kids getting ready for the draft. Huge difference, huge gap there. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then too, I liked when Prime he rapped at the end. He gave you a little bit of Kendrick at the end there.
Yeah, he did. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, that was awesome. So I saw that and started cracking up. So
yeah, he'll trip, man.
Oh yeah, man. I'm again just so happy that he's the coach here in Boulder. Let's talk a little bit just some recruiting. I know the whole house settlement that was passed over the summer. And now it seems like, it's just kind of, and what I like to say is the NCAA, man, they're flying by the seat of their pants, it feels like, right? Like, They don't know which way is left or right, up, down, those kind of things. And now, we kind of seen a different approach with Colorado, right? Because now they're saying that the transfer portal is not going to be as not be as hot. I don't know, but do you think this is kind of why we've seen last year at this point there is 0 commitments, and now we have 11, 12 commits now for the Buffs? Do you think that has anything to do with it, or they're just trying to figure this out too?
They're trying to figure it out too. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Nobody has this thing figured out. Like even now, you got people that are committed to schools that they won't play for because you don't know what the rule is going to be in December when it's time to sign. They said August 1st was going to be the day where a lot of offers have to get put in writing. So that's the first day offers can be put in writing, but that doesn't mean that NIL deals will be put in writing. And no schools really want to do that because they know that it's almost like when you go to buy a car. If you put that in writing, then what do you do when you get an offer that says, okay, we're going to give you this interest rate? All you do is take it to another dealership and see if you can get the car cheaper there. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they think the players are going to do when they put these offers in writing. So now it's like, all right, all you're going to do is just go shop this offer to somebody else. We're not doing that. And so people still don't know what's going on. And is it, and the whole goal of profit sharing was to be able to say, okay, you're an employee of the school. This is how much you make, and you shouldn't be getting any other money. But how can you tell somebody that they can't make? How can you tell them you can make money off your name, image, and likeness, but only if we say you can make net money off your name, image, and likeness? And that's why you're having so much competition and so much opposition, to the house settlement. So it's going to go back and forth, and I don't think you're going to have. I don't think we probably 5, 6, 10 years away from having this thing sorted. Nobody knows. You bring in a third party consulting company to run all the NIL deals through, and some of the deals that I'm hearing about it's just paperwork added to the same deal that they were getting anyway. So we'll see, man. But yeah, it's just it's a lot of red tape, and I think that people are just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, okay, for sure, for sure. Thanks. Yeah. Talk about the Buffs a little bit. Have you noticed the difference this year versus last year for this Colorado team? Is what you're hearing, what you have seen, any difference at all?
I just think this year nobody knows who the playmakers are. Last year you knew who the playmakers were. You knew who to go to for certain things. You knew that if this person if I get this route ran to me in practice, I probably won't get this route ran to me in the game. Like, he probably won't look this way. I know what his read is. Well, now you don't know. There are so many opportunities to make plays offensively. You don't have any idea who's going to be the guy. There's like, you could take, it's basically like a roulette table as far as who's going to be your leading rusher, who's going to be your leading receiver, who's going to be the leading guy in sacks, who's going to have the most interceptions. You just don't know. You don't know who's going to lead the team in tackles. You have no clue. And I think that's that, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because there are so many viable options that it makes it one of those things where it's more exciting than it is a problem, because you have plenty of talented options. So I think that's the biggest thing I would say, is that there are a lot of options and you don't know where it's coming from. And I think that's created an air of excitement, because people know that if I show out in practice, then I may be able to do this in the game, because there isn't a Travis Hunter here. There isn't a LeJontay Wester. Like, we know there's an opportunity for me to make plays, and if I do it under the lights, then I'll continue to make plays. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And again, huge Shador fan, love him. But that element Caden Salter brings, again, I don't think, and the point I kept hitting on, I've been at this for a little over a month now, with the viewers who viewed in, listen to us, whenever it is. But it's man, I don't think people understand what Caden Salter was coming out of high school, right? 7th overall quarterback. This dude can play. And I just struggle with that, right? Because, we seen it again. It's no shots at anybody, but the talk is Devin Dampier there at Utah, right? The transfer. And, I get this thing is like, this is how they should be talking about Caden Salter, because this dude can play. This dude is talented.
Yeah, absolutely. He coming out of high school, he wasn't far off Julian Lewis's ranking. They were about the same, to be honest, back in the final ranking. So signed with Tennessee. I remember Auburn wanted him really badly. He turned Auburn down, Texas A&M. A lot of schools were after this guy. So he has the pedigree. Now it's just about You know he has the physical tools. He has a cannon. He was a hurdler, so you know he has explosion. So now you just see him get to put it all together. We've seen him have a 3,000-yard pass and 1,000-yard rush a season, which is really rare in college football. So for somebody who's done that, played at the highest level, played in high leverage games as a G5 member, playing against P4 schools and winning, he has the mentality of somebody who of an underdog, and I think that's dangerous for other defenses. That a guy who's playing on the power forward level with the P5 or G5, I would say a G5 mentality. Like, oh, you don't think I can play? Well, I got to show you. Oh, you don't think I'm fast enough? Well, let me show you how fast I am. You don't think I'm strong enough to reach for this extra yard? Well, watch me get this first down. And I think that's his mentality. And I think it's going to bode well for the Buffs.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm excited, man. I can't wait for Friday. So, yeah, I'm excited for the whole thing. So just so we don't, out here in Colorado, we don't know a lot about Georgia Tech, right? What we've seen was Georgia Tech versus Georgia at the end of the year last year. I was tuned in, kind of like, man, who is Haynes King? Who are these dudes, right? Like I did this thing, and then you start seeing that, right? And you're like, man, that was fun to watch, right? So then I start digging into Georgia Tech because I seen they're on CU schedule, right? Again, you're out there in Atlanta with them. What are things that Colorado fans don't know about Georgia Tech that we should?
I would say the backup quarterback is the all-time leading passer in the state of Georgia. Um, he's the guy who's if Julian Lewis would have stayed his senior year, he would have broke the record. But that was the guy that you're aiming for. He had a really good he had a good freshman season. It was a few ups and downs, but you saw the potential, and they really like what he can do passing the ball. He's 1,000% probably the better passer of the two, but I think Haynes King has just a better overall grasp of the position. But it's almost like the same thing like with you and Caden Salter. Like you go with the experience, but the guy who's on the bench may be able to do some things that the first guy can't, but they're just young. And I think so that's one of the things, and I think that the running back room is really a three-headed monster. It's just not Jamal Haynes. They got guys. Right now on the depth chart, they had Trey Maddox as an or kind of candidate, but Trey Maddox is like 6'2", 220, a legend in Atlanta. Stayed home when he got hurt last year when he got his first opportunity. Went ahead and took a red shirt. But that's everybody in Atlanta thinks that Georgia Tech is going to out physical Colorado because that's the brand that Brent Key has been building. So we'll see on Friday, but they don't realize how physical this Colorado team is now in comparison to last year. But the buzz in Atlanta, no pun intended with Georgia Tech, but the buzz in Atlanta is really about how physical Georgia Tech is and how physical they plan on being with Colorado.
No, absolutely. And that showed again in that Georgia game. I've been talking about Haynes King, Eric Rivers, and Jamal Haynes, where you watch Jamal Haynes and you're like, man, and knowing that there's another running back behind him, hopefully them backers got it where they're ready to go. Jaheim Otis ready to go. Lightfoot's ready to go. Artem Walker, those, and again, I have no doubt they will be. But it is, I've seen teams, media outlets pick the Georgia Tech to win the ACC. So again, I can't wait. Fired up for Friday. But yeah, no, I think that's good because we don't notice them a lot. Now on last Monday's show, so your show, I was tuned in live. You talked about Shador and how to survive under 45, right? Yeah. I love that piece from your show, man. That was that meant a lot to me. I sat there even today. I watched it live. I watched it again today, just thinking. I was like, man, this is awesome. So, if you don't mind, can you elaborate just a little bit more on what you meant by that?
Yeah, man. I think sometimes, so in the Black and brown community, there are a lot of people who felt the way about Donald Trump winning the election, and there's a lot of people in the same communities that would have felt the same, that would have felt different if Harris would have won. But regardless of who's at the top and regardless of the decision maker, you can't stop being an American today. You can't stop doing what you need to do today. You have to, regardless of the situation that's on top, you got to know that there's a bigger decision maker over everybody. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're obedient to your plan and your purpose for your life, things will work out in your favor. And I think that was preach. I was kind of, they call me a preacher sometimes on the live, but I was saying that to people who were worried so much about Shadur's situation. Like, is Shadur going to be able to play? Are they going to cut him? Are they going to trade him? Why is he still fourth? And as somebody who's watched my lives, I'm like, y'all just got to relax. Because at the end of the day, this is his opportunity to give God the glory. And it's because, and I'm not making this up. This is what Bucky said. Bucky told me, I had a really good interview with Bucky last month. And Bucky was like, that's how he views it. That's how we view it as a family. That's his opportunity to go through something, to basically bear his cross. And a lot of people feel like, oh, well, he's in the NFL. How's that bearing a cross? But the scrutiny that his family comes under is incredible. I mean, it's crazy, to the point where sometimes I get some just because Coach Prime shows me love every now and then, you know. So I just think regardless of the situation, you just got to stay down with it and understand not only who you are, but whose you are, who you belong to. And it doesn't matter who's at the top, because everybody has a boss. So that's kind of what that went to. I was like, you know, a lot of people like, is Duke's getting political? No, I'm not getting political, but I just know in the Black community where I'm from, there's a lot of people who are upset that Donald Trump won the election. So at the end of the day, I'm telling people, I'm like, all right, so what, you gonna stop going to work? You know, you're gonna get the lights, you're gonna let the lights get cut off, you're gonna stop going to school, you're not gonna finish your degree? Or you gonna keep going? Then you're gonna trust that the person who's in control over everything knows what he's doing? You just got to go through it like all the rest of us. And that's kind of what I was basing that whole thing in.
Yeah. No, it was good. I tuned into the whole thing. And just, again, I just went to that part today just to listen to that again, because I was just like, man, like, this is felt everywhere. And, what you have been talking about, right? Like Shador, he gets all these things. Again, I shared a story on here that I've probably like the 20th time it feels like now. We went to Oklahoma State game last year, so we're season ticket holders. We went last year, and I was like, maybe we'll catch let's just wait a little bit. Shador's last home game, man, we got down there. Shiloh jumped in the stands next to us with all his gear on. Yeah, and so it was wild. And then you had Shador. He was doing an interview with midfield, or I'm not sure what it was. He comes running over, sees my boy, hands him the game-used towel, the Gatorade one, and man, my boy walked away like, we get up the stairs, my wife and I, and he just says, he says, hey guys, what was your favorite part of the season? I'm like, bro, I know what you're about to say. We just left the favorite part of the season for all of us, right? And he says, I go, well, what was yours? And he goes, it's when Shador gave me his towel. And man, I tell you, he still sleeps with that towel, has not watched it. It is in his bed. So, you asked me about Shador, you asked me about the Sanders family, and again, I'm going to keep saying this. If my boys can come out just like those boys that Deion's raised, man, I would be, I did a great job. I did a great job raising them. So, and, you even see Shador here in East Aurora at Aurora Central High School coming and giving out pizza. Bought pizza for all of them for perfect attendance. It is, I just don't know how that hate he gets. It's beyond me.
Yeah, that's how you know it's hate.
Yep, for sure. Yep. For sure. And then there was where we at? One more question. So if you're okay with this, Dukes, you were talking about on the show about places you worked or went to with certain people being uncomfortable. You were saying you had to roll down your sleeves, whatever it may be, to cover some tats. Whatever it was, I'm just kind of curious, like, now that you're doing your own thing now, have you seen a change in that? More, I don't want to say accepting, but more comfortable. Have you noticed that at all, or is it still kind of?
I'd say this. I think moving around to different industries, I think as the world becomes more accepting, there are so many other things that people are worried about than forearm tattoos, right? But it takes people time to catch up. Like, I remember, like, growing up, earrings weren't the thing, right? It was like, oh my gosh, he's got an earring, and what does the earring really mean? And now it's not a big deal. So I think as people evolve, it happens. But I think the biggest thing is for me to be able to put myself in positions where I don't have to feel any kind of way about being myself. And a job is a job. And when you sign that paperwork to say, I'm going to work this job, they're going to be rules and unsaid rules of every employment atmosphere that you go into. So it's up to you what you're okay with. And if there's an unwritten rule there, then you got two options. Either you comply or you don't. But if you don't comply, that means your employment goes away 9 times out of 10, or it's going to be unfortunate, or it's going to be so uncomfortable that you end up leaving. So I think as far as where I am in my life now, I've put myself in position and I worked really hard because there are a million times that I had to swallow my pride and I wanted to say something and I didn't. I had to consider people who were dependent on me. So many times where I knew that, my son I got daycare to pay for. So what, there's something I want to say to this guy, but I can't right now because I love him, my son, more than I don't like what you just said to me. So I can grin and bear, right? And I think now I just put myself in a position where due to God bless me, man. I can't. That's the only way I can say it, man. God bless me, because shoot, a lot of people be like, oh man, On3 let you go, you should be crying. I'm like, man, if y'all know what my life is really like, but I don't have to share my entire life with people to prove it to them because it's genuine joy. So if people think my only income source is YouTube, good,
Yeah,
great,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's build it up. That means that because my life hasn't changed a whole lot, and it's a blessing, man. And that's why I talk about it in the smile, because I get to spend so much time with my son, my family. Like, it's just, man, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, and I can't take no credit for it. That's all God.
for sure, for sure. No, I appreciate that. I've seen it too. In the field that I was in before. My wife, Latina, in a predominantly white male field, does her thing, man. I'm so stinking proud of her. And then two others, coworkers. So Kiana, Danielle, if you're watching this, shout out. You already know what I'm talking about. Those are my peeps. But just I get it though. I don't want to say I get it, but been there in
Yeah,
the
no,
trenches.
for sure,
So
man. Yeah.
and then now, so what I do want to talk about though, real quick, Dukes, is man, the outlook for Colorado this season. Where do you got them finishing? How do you have the Big 12 falling? What do you think that looks like?
Man, I think based on roster alone, this is an 8-9 win team. I think how the roster gels is what determines if they're a 6-7 win team or a 10-11 win team. So I think the range, but I think really just bare bones, this is an 8-9 win team. Like, probably closer to 9. But then when you just look at the talent level versus everything else in the Big 12, they should win 8 or 9. They should.
Yeah,
Um,
I got. Oh, go ahead. My fault, dude.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, if the team doesn't come together, it could be a 6-7 win team. That doesn't mean that they're not talented. That means that things didn't come together the way they're supposed to. If things really go right, yeah, we talking about 10-11. If they really hit that stride, that's the type of talent that you have. But I think they'll end up in that 8-9 win range. 'Cause I think that's who they are this year.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, we did our record prediction last week. I have 9 wins,
Yep.
and we had Jack Carlo with the C on
Yeah.
yesterday, and he had 8 wins, and the only place we differed was Georgia Tech. So segue into that, man. What do you got this Friday? What do you think?
I think I got Colorado in a close physical game. I think they pull off the upset. Just because I don't think anybody knows what to expect. We've seen Georgia Tech run the ball. We've seen what Brent Key likes to do. Nobody knows what Pat Shermer's college rushing offense looks like. And you have, I think, the best athlete on the field will probably be Caden Salter in some times, which gives you an advantage when you've got a guy who can throw the ball the way he can with the weapons that he has and can move the way he does. And Julian Lewis took a ton of reps at first with the first string that I saw yesterday. And
Yeah,
yesterday was a de facto Wednesday on a regular week. So when you're splitting, when you got a guy, 9 times out of 10, when you see a guy taking that many reps with the ones, it's a 2 quarterback system. So I'm not gonna say that's what's gonna happen, but they
yeah.
got enough reps that you would feel comfortable playing them.
For sure, yeah, and that's one that I was kind of like, man, I think they're gonna. I don't. It's not 50-50, right? Like and again, a lot of people get it a little twisted when they start talking. Well, Tebow and Chris League. It's like, no, that was Chris League. The Tebow came in to spell him a little bit, right? So, it's not 50-50, but I do think we see some Julian Lewis, and again, that talent that Julian Lewis has. What I said, I've been doing this thing 5-7 years, somewhere around there, just building my own scouting thing on them, rankings. The last 5-7 years, that is, if not, he's the best quarterback I've seen. And again, I just can't get over this. This dude should be going into his senior year of high school.
Juice 17 still.
That's correct, man. That's wild. That is wild. And I know you watched him live. What was that like?
Man, the game I saw him was against Aaron Nolan on national TV about 2 years ago. Incredible atmosphere. Air came out on top, but Jew, I mean, really, Air was the senior that year. He was the guy, the 5-star senior, and Jew was 10th grade. And man, unbelievable composure, moxie, just the it factor. We always talk about the it factor. That's, you call it the Jew factor, right? So yeah, Jew is different, and I think I think he gets some reps regardless of how the game goes. I think he plays.
Okay, yeah, I'm hopeful. I just, and again, I'm biased, so it probably took over a little bit. But I just watched him, and I had I always call him my fourth son, Day Day.
Yeah,
He'll appreciate that right now. He was over. He came over. He's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Man, I'm just watching some tape." And it was probably about this time last year. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Watch this." Showed him Julian Lewis, everything, the mechanics, everything, and then I can't even remember who the other quarterback was. Showed him someone else, and he was like, man, that dude's way better. And he's talking about Julian Lewis, right? I was like, it's just easy to see. So I'm man, I cannot wait. Cannot wait for him. And again, part of me is like, let's just throw him in there. But again, you don't want to do that as well, right?
right.
I was you watch the SEC thing on Netflix.
No, I missed it, man. I need to watch it, man. I might be on there. I got to go watch it.
Okay. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen you yet though, but you ought to check out DJ Lagway. They throw him in. It was on the road was it at Tennessee somewhere, and he was just kind of like deer in headlights looking. It's like, man, you don't want to break no confidence this early. So, but yeah, I'm excited for this season, Dukes. Man, and again just can't wait for Friday. So,
Yeah.
And then are you still here in Colorado, or did you fly back?
Yeah, I'm back in Atlanta, man.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So no game on Friday for you then, huh?
Nah, man. My son got his first game of the season tomorrow, and I wanted to be here to make sure I supported him. So I'm excited, man. He's excited too. This is his first year being one of the guys. So he's excited.
Absolutely. And then are you coaching?
Yeah, man. I'm doing a little light coaching, man. So I drew up a little scheme for them guys to run, and hopefully they bring me back for the second week.
Yeah, you don't want to get fired week 1, man.
Yeah, man. Nah, you don't want to do that.
No, and again, I appreciate you being with us, Dukes. And again, I just kind of want to, show you some love here. Make sure people follow. Is there anything that we should be on the lookout for that everyone on here that views this that we should be on the lookout for that you're working on?
Man, you know what? I got some interviews coming out, man. So I got an interview with Uncle Neely that should probably be out next week. Another interview with Darius from Reach the People. We got some work. And I don't know when, but Coach Prime, we definitely talked about doing something else. So we didn't do anything this year. We did it last year, so it's time. I think it'll be a lot better as our relationship has grown. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and then I probably go live. If anybody's here, I probably go live probably about 20, 30 minutes, man. I think I'm gonna do something tonight. So
there you go. Yeah, there you go, guys. Make sure you tune in. Here on Mountain Time, it's only 8, so it's still night's still early here.
Yep,
So
for sure.
so anyone check Dukes out again, man. Thank you for being here. We'll be in touch. But man, I appreciate you, and then everybody that's joined the show tonight. Thank you all for joining again. Follow there's Dukes at the bottom. With me, it's Manny_303 on X. Instagram is 303_Manny. We have our buff line open. Man, at some point I'm gonna remember that number. Hold up, give me a second, guys. Let me go get that number for you guys. 970-614-5771. Again, just appreciate the support. Without you guys, we have no show. Just really, really appreciate y'all. And again, Friday we'll be live from Folsom. So make sure we check that out. I don't know what time we're going to go live, but it'll be before kickoff at some point. But we'll be there at Folsom. Then we'll have a post game after. But anyway, just thank you guys for joining. And again, Dukes, thanks again. Appreciate you a ton.
No problem, my brother, man. Take it easy.
All right, for sure. Have a good night, everyone.